we need to start by checking in with The Rock's wrestling career, which resumed during this time period. He returned to WWE in 2011.
He seems his biggest in this movie so far.
Yeah.
If I'm tracking the levels of his shoulder muscles.
Let's see.
They're at the third floor, right, on this movie.
Yes, they are. He returned to a live episode of Raw in February 2011, announced as the host of that year's WrestleMania, and they started teasing a feud with John Cena. And ultimately, this built to WrestleMania in 2012, like a 14-month build, the biggest wrestling match of all time, The Rock versus John Cena. He did have one match in between then in November 2011, his first match since 2004. But then, he fights John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 2012, where he won, and where they would then build to a rematch the following year.
Is this right before John Cena starts doing movies?
He had not started doing movies.
He's Magic Mike, right? No, that's Channing Tatum. Was his first one the cock blocking movie? Cockblocker?
No. He Trainwreck, I feel like, was the first time people noticed him, but he did like shitty like direct to video action movies before this. But he was full-time WWE. There's this famous thing where they came out and talked shit to each other, and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, had written some stuff down on his arm to like refer to during his promo, and John Cena saw him do that and then used that in his own promo. So he pulls off his wristband. He's like, look, I don't have to write stuff down on my arm for my promo. I've seen conflicting things about whether The Rock knew he was going to say that or if he really did do that and really did upset him. But The Rock looks genuinely offended right there.
So a real feud.
Just in that one thing. That's a low blow. And then John Cena later said, like, now that I'm a movie star, I understand what he was going through, and he didn't have all the mental space to devote to this. He was doing a million things at once. But they have a match. It's a decent, I watched it last night. It's a decent match. And crucially, The Rock didn't get hurt. But it's, John Cena's a boring wrestler and The Rock's a boring wrestler, and they do a lot of things and play it very safe. And the following year, they had the rematch where John Cena won, and then they like hug and are all respectful at the end. I mean,
you can't shame them for being careful wrestlers when their big thing is that they're good looking. Like, can't fuck up your face when you're.
Well, I mean, like
that's why they're boring.
Not hurting your neck or your back or.
Yes, and I'm saying that's because they have lives to go lead and they have other things they get to do. But if you're somebody like, is it Mankind? What is his name?
Yes, Mankind. Okay, but there's plenty of really good looking wrestlers who are not boring.
Oh, are there?
Yeah.
Like who?
Like CM Punk, a great technical wrestler who's also a handsome fox.
But is he an actor? Like, are his ambitions outside of wrestling? Is what I'm saying.
I mean, they all of them think they're going to be actors.
Well, he's getting past his prime. Show me CM Punk. I remember him being boring looking. Is he blonde?
No.
Oh, well, then I'm not thinking of the right person.
He looks like
John Hamm.
Your friend Lacey's ex-husband, who when I met him, I was like, you look like CM Punk. And I kept saying that to him.
Okay, yeah, he's handsome.
Okay, it's just.
He looks like John Hamm.
He looks like John Hamm. All right. So the meantime, The Rock, after Fast 5, he had movies like Journey to the Mysterious Island, a surprisingly big hit. Snitch and G.I. Joe 2, another surprise hit. Or surprise in that I look at it and I'm like, that movie made $400 million. Okay.
I'm surprised.
All right. Michael Bay, we kind of already talked about, but he began his career in commercials, famously directed the Got Milk commercial.
Alan Burr.
Yeah.
Aaron Burr.
Shit. Did tons of car commercials. Victoria's Secret commercials.
Yes, as soon as I realized he was the reason why I wanted to buy every fucking thing that Victoria's Secret sold, I mean I can remember all of his commercials. There's just iconic in my brain. And I had a store card for Victoria's Secret, and it'd be like, okay, yes, go use it. I've paid it down $50. Need a bra. I want to be in smoke and just like he just has a way of capturing glistening bodies.
Yeah, in a very technical way. Like, I don't think there's anything sexy in this movie. I don't know. Maybe I do. In Pain and Gain. I mean, we'll talk about it.
Every time. I mean, can a woman who's half naked with an amazing body ever not be kind of sexy? I don't know. Can you sexlessly show that?
But he worked with David Fincher. Like he and David Fincher were friends as they were commercial directors. They were like the two commercial directors. And then David Fincher went in a totally different direction when he started making feature films. Whereas Michael Bay did not. He's like, well, I'll make feature films that look like my commercials. Bad Boys was his first movie. The Rock, his second movie in 96. He made Armageddon in 1998.
But my God, would you want to be in one of his movies? He is going to make you look like your most glorious self. I mean, he's got probably the most iconic just hero moments. He uses slow-mo maybe too much, but when he does it just right, it's like, wow, that person's never looked fucking cooler in their life.
You'd absolutely want to do that. And Armageddon is the first movie where he works directly with the Pentagon. I've been talking about this on these videos I've been making, youtube.com/@LordWingBeansPod, of the symbiotic relationship between Hollywood and the military, where Hollywood films will literally get money from the Pentagon and access to like tanks and military outfits and aircraft carriers and stuff in exchange for the Pentagon having script approval. And over time, you see the military depicted in more and more and more of a positive light. Michael Bay first worked with the military for Armageddon. He worked with them for all of the Transformers movies except for Transformers 4 when he worked with the Chinese military.
Interesting. Okay, but here again, we're pointing to the cynicalness of it all. Like, he just wants the budget and he wants the access to the cool shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a... I mean, he's poking the military's buttons too, and they're totally leaning into it, giving him more and more.
I think he likes the military.
I don't think he likes anything.
Okay, I mean... Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it is like I see Americans and I see they love their fucking troops and I'll give them their troops in this beautiful sun-drenched.
And I don't know that it's mean like that. I think it's just like, okay, you like that, I'm going to give you that because then you give me stuff. I think it's all just practical.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Every shot in Armageddon, whenever you will see civilians on the ground, like listening to news about the asteroid, it looks like it's from the 1940s. They're like gathering around a radio. There's a biplane going overhead, or
everyone's scarves are starched.
Yes. Or like people, look, these people in Holland, they're by windmills with wind blowing and to listen to the radio.
These people in Italy, they're by the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
and it's like the only way
everything's a postcard.
And everything is just like, what's like a signifier to make you think like, oh, that's America. Oh, that's Holland. That's smart. Italy. But like a fake commercial version of it. And I think what's interesting about Pain and Gain is its main character, Mark Wahlberg, has like totally ingested the commercial version of America and been like, I feel like I'm getting ripped off.
Yeah.
Because I haven't gotten that commercial version of America and I need to do something about that.
And he keeps saying like he's got the body of someone who deserves more, and that his friends have the body of someone. It doesn't make sense that you don't have a bunch of stuff. Look at how hard you've worked on your body.
Right. Because he's totally accepted the idea of the meritocracy, which is the number one myth that, the cultural industry sell you is work really hard and you'll win. You'll succeed in America. When actually you succeed by having having parents who succeeded.
Right.
Or there can be cases like somebody like Tony Shalhoub in this movie who's like, to Mark Wahlberg seems like the very height of success, but he's like, he owns a Schlotsky's Deli franchise and he has like $3 million to his name, which is a lot, but like that would make him the 10,000th richest person in Miami.
He's also got kind of what Mark Wahlberg, Daniel has in this, which is like this tenacity, this like, he'll be the asshole. He'll say something. So he doesn't care so much about what people think because he's got a mission. He's tough. They're both very tough people. So I think they have more in common than what they lack.
So he can wrap his head around him as a target because he seems real to him in a way that like a corporate CEO would never, like he would just never see a corporate CEO.
Or have a long-term or an extended conversation with them, or the CEO wouldn't have enough in common to even entertain it.
Yeah.
And they are alike, and so they did strike up a type of, a professional relationship, friendship thing. He was his trainer, right? Or not just working at the gym where he went.
You're talking about the real people?
Uh-huh.
All right, so this is all based on a real story, the Sun Gym Gang. In real life, there were more than just 3 people. It was a larger gang, but it centered on Daniel Lugo, who in the movie is played by Mark Wahlberg, and Noel Adrian Doorball, who's played in the movie by Anthony Mackie. The character that Dwayne Johnson plays is a composite, or he plays like a composite of all these other guys.
Which makes sense why he goes through some stuff.
Yeah, he goes through all these, that was not actually the same guy who did all that stuff. So this story was famously told in the Miami New Times in a series of articles in 1999 and 2000, which were written by Pete Collins. They're called Pain and Gang. And it is a fascinating story. It was got tons of media attention at the time for how colorful it was. But Daniel Lugo, the ringleader of it all, is kind of this Frank Abagnale, the real Frank Abagnale character who's like, I served 15 months in federal prison for financial fraud. I pretended I was a bank officer and going to help invest in people's businesses and then just never.
Right. They kind of go by that part so fast that you don't even really digest it. I mean, you get that he's just looking to make money and he doesn't care who he hurts. But I guess I didn't totally understand what he was selling in that quick clip to say, hey, I'm a con. Ex-con. I'm that. Yeah,
I think what he was doing was getting people approved for fake loans and then they give him a down payment.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You have mugshots or pictures of Noel and Daniel, and who are these other two people?
So the other two people are the real Frank Griga and Christina Furton.
Is that the two that get killed?
Yes. And so in real life, they were the ones murdered. And, but this all started with Daniel Lugo, the Mark Wahlberg character, targeting somebody named Mark Schiller, who in the movie is Victor Kershaw.
Do we have a picture of him, please? That's pretty close. Tough some bitch.
All right. So he told his friends at the gym that this guy had stolen $100,000 for him and they should kidnap him to get revenge. So they did really have this plan where they'd wear Halloween costumes, but didn't go through with it. They really did show up in the backyard of his house in camo and like crawled on the ground and then got spooked by a car and turned around and abandoned it and ultimately just grabbed him in the parking lot of his deli, which in real life was a Schlotsky's franchise. In this movie, they make it seem like it's just regular deli. But like, I kind of wish it was a Schlotsky's franchise just to hammer it home that like, this is a guy, like, this is just like a shitty small businessman who has like, is like upper middle class, like upper middle class.
Okay. Sorry. I'm make sure I understand. So in real life, no one but Daniel knew the truth throughout the whole thing. They were operating
I don't know that.
Okay. But they began it as thinking they were helping him get his money back from a guy. Okay.
And so they kept him kidnapped for weeks, transferred his assets into accounts that they controlled. And before ultimately trying to kill him in much the same way as happens in the movie, try to make him getting him drunk and crash his car. That didn't work. Set the car on fire. That didn't work. Run over him multiple times. That didn't work. But another car showed up. So they fled. And then they found out, oh, he's still alive. We got to go try to get him at the hospital. But he fled the hospital before they could get to him. And so Daniel Lugo moved into his house telling neighbors, I work for the federal government. He's been deported and we've now confiscated his property and we're going to use it for a government operation.
Now that's smarter than in the movie.
Where he's just like, I live here now.
Right.
So then they moved on to Frank Griga. They planned to do the same thing that they did to Mark Schiller, but Adrian, the Anthony Mackie character, got mad and killed him during a fight. And so they injected his girlfriend with horse tranquilizer, ultimately killing her.
By accident?
Yes. Mark Schiller, the earlier victim, hired a real private investigator named Ed Dubois. And he really did go to the Miami PD, say, you got to take this seriously. But they blew him off until these two people ended up kidnapped. And then the only other major difference is Daniel Lugo did flee to the Bahamas, but he stayed there for 5 days before the Bahamian police got to him. And then these two were both sentenced to death. And they remained on death row until last year when they received a resentencing trial and their sentence was converted to life in prison. So they're still there. That's
and as they should be. But it did end the movie in a bad spot for me thinking of the death penalty. I figured it would say if they'd already been executed. I was hoping it'd be the case that, I don't know. I don't know what's more humane.
No, nobody should be put to death. It's
it just
stupid.
Seems so archaic.
It's inhumane and it's also dumb. There's no reason to do it. It's more expensive than to keep them alive. And like you never, yeah, it is because of all the extensive like legal procedures to do it. And there's certainly been innocent people executed. So that there means you shouldn't do it. But also like, isn't it good to just keep them alive in case you ever, I don't know, need them for something? You have a question you need to ask them? You know,
Just a permanent
I got a question.
Little Jeeves waiting for you to ask it something.
I would even say like 30 years for murder is probably too much. Like
you got to think you're coming out a different person.
Yeah, or even if you come out the same, I don't know.
Wait, Matt, you don't want them to reoffend.
No, I know you don't want them to reoffend, but in other countries, like they don't have sentences longer than 20 years. Oh. They think like that's barbaric to send, even if you murder somebody, to make them stay the rest of their lives.
That's interesting. I will give that more thought then.
All right, so that's the history of Pain and Gain. And now the movie.